Hmm? Oh, hey. I didn't see you there. Hey, come here. Come on. Take a seat. We need to talk. You've seen the title of this video. And, yeah. This is where we are. I'm gonna give my 2 cents on the matter. How I feel about Xenoverse 3. We don't need it. I hate the idea of Xenoverse 3 happening. We don't need a Xenoverse 3. There are several things and reasons as to why I'm not okay with this, and I'm gonna go over them all in this video because I'm done holding it in. We don't need a Xenoverse 3 to happen. The very notion of Xenoverse 3 happening ticks me off. It's not gonna happen. I don't want it to happen. We don't need it to happen. Imagine this. Imagine Xenoverse 2 is like a cruise ship. It's an old cruise ship, kind of like the Titanic. Sure, it's hit some polarized caps here and there. It's gotten some holes put into it, but the devs who are the crewmates in this scenario have always found a way to patch them up. Eventually. Sure, it's not a perfect job, but hey, they're not letting the boat sink. They've been at it for over 6 years. So, when I hear someone say or mention Xenoverse 3, that says to me that the devs are abandoning Xenoverse 2. That they're jumping ship. They are. The captain of Xenoverse 2's ship is going on the intercom to say, "This is your captain speaking. I know that we have been able to keep this ship afloat for the past 6 years plus, but we would regret to inform you that we will no longer be doing that. I advise all passengers to be ready to abandon the ship." That's what it feels like to me. That the devs who have spent over 6 years working on this game are going to leave it. You know the saying, a good captain goes down with the ship? Well, if we get Xenoverse 3, they're not going to go down with the ship. They're jumping ship. Like, there are so many things that are wrong with the idea of getting a Xenoverse 3. Like, okay, hypothetically speaking, if we get Xenoverse 3, big if, what are they going to do? How are they going to compensate old veteran players? Players who played the game since it released back in 2017. Players like me, who have been playing for the past 5 years, since 2018. How are they going to compensate us? You see, this wasn't that big of a problem or an issue because this wasn't as big of an issue with Xenoverse 1 because there was about a 1-year gap between Xenoverse 1 and Xenoverse 2's release date. So people weren't as invested in Xenoverse 1 as they were with Xenoverse 2. But the devs did find a way to compensate players. Basically, if you made a CAC in Xenoverse 1, you could, when the time came in the story, choose for that character to be the Time Patroller hero from the past game. What this would do is that it also gave you some of their items, some of their equipment, some of their moves, and maybe a super soul, depending on what they were using. Because I do recall, for me, because my I think it was because my character from Xenoverse 1 had Warp Kamehameha. He wasn't able to transfer it to me because that was a movie I had to get from the Parallel Quest. But still, it was a good way. It was a good thing. It was pretty cool. How are they going to compensate us for over 6 years of playing Xenoverse 2? The Xenoverse 3 would basically be the equivalent of Overwatch 2. And that's not a good comparison to make, given the news that Blizzard dropped recently. Like, in Xenoverse 1, there was about 2 DLCs. There was one for Dragon Ball GT, and one for Resurrection F. And all of those characters in the DLC, plus all the characters that were base game in Xenoverse 1, returned in the base game roster in Xenoverse 2. You see where I'm going with this, right? If we use Xenoverse 3, either cuts are going to be made, or they're going to add every character that was base game in Xenoverse 2, and all the DLC characters as well. So any more DLC for Xenoverse 3, they'll be scraping at the bottom of the barrel.
Wait, you're gonna destroy the planet. Relax.
There won't be a lot for them to add.
At least for as long as there are.
If they could have added Dragon Ball Super, not Dragon Ball Super, if they could have added Super Dragon Ball Heroes, they would have. It's like why King Cold didn't transform against Trunks, or why Pan never went Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball GT. If they could have, they would have. But they didn't, because they couldn't. We would have had characters like Cumber, Heart, Golden Metal Cooler, Eos. But we don't. Probably because the Xenoverse 2 devs don't have permission. Oh, speaking of scraping at the bottom of the barrel, the story. What's the story gonna be this time? In Xenoverse 1, we went through all of Z. We went a bit into GT. And we also did Resurrection F. In Xenoverse 2, we went through the whole Z story again. Future Gohan's timeline. Future Trunks' timeline. Resurrection F again. I'm not Resurrection F. Battle of Gods. I meant to say Battle of Gods. Battle of Gods again. And then Resurrection F. And then DLC added in the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 tournament. The Goku Black Arc. The Tournament of Power. Several times. And Dragon Ball Super Broly. Oh, and recently, Dragon Ball Super Superhero. What are they gonna add for the next story for Xenoverse 3? They're gonna be scraping at the bottom of the barrel for that. It's just I just hate people like Cabby and Burkle talking about Xenoverse 3 when we don't need it. The devs need to focus on fixing Xenoverse 2. They've been doing it for years. What's a few more? I hate when Cabby tries to praise Xenoverse 2's accomplishments, but then ignores the flaws. Like, oh, Xenoverse 2 has sold over 10 million copies, or it's raised this amount of money. It's raised so much money. It's the best Dragon Ball Z game to come out. It's not. Just because a game sells over 10 million copies doesn't mean it's good. Pokemon and Call of Duty do that all the time. And they did it in less time. And not all of their games are great either. Plus, Xenoverse 2 is constantly, I mean constantly, on sale. I remember one of my friends sent me a picture of Xenoverse 2 in Steam. It was only like $8. And oh, the reason it makes so much money is because it's stuck to the brim with DLC. This is the one Dragon Ball game that has the most DLC content, the most downloadable content out of every Dragon Ball game. We don't need a Xenoverse 3. I don't believe it's happening, and I don't want it to happen. You can say I'm coping, you can say I'm seeding, you can say I'm molding. But listen to what I've said so far, and this is what I'm saying now. We don't need a Xenoverse 3. Oh, but then Burkle made a video showing that he got an email from a Xenoverse dev who said that they're actually working on Xenoverse 3. Who's the sender? How come Burkle doesn't show us the sender of the email? Ever think of that? Yeah. For all we know, Burkle could have sent it to himself. For all we know, this could have been made by one of his editors. We don't need it. We don't need it to happen. I hate whenever people talk about it because we don't need it. You don't need it. You want Xenoverse 3 so badly? Convert to PC and mod offline. Because that's as good as it's gonna get. That's as good as it's gonna get. Modders, fans of Xenoverse have outdone the devs by adding in stuff that they won't add. Goes to show you how lazy the devs are. It's been over 6 years plus, and modders have added in a new race. Xenoverse 2 hasn't done that. There are so many more forms that modders have added in from the Dragon Ball series itself. And the best the devs can do is just add a Super Saiyan form like once a year, with the exception of Beast. Like I can think of 2 to 3 forms for every race off the top of my head to give. Heck, I'll list them out right here. You seeing this? You see these? 2 to 3 forms you could give to each other race. I'm not a genius. I'm no Einstein. I'm not the whiz when it comes to coding and stuff. But these could work. It's better than nothing. These Earthling form ideas I have are better than Power Pull Pro, which shouldn't even be a transformation to begin with. Doesn't make sense for Gohan to be giving away a stranger that he met from a different timeline 2 of his family heirlooms, one of which is irreplaceable. These Majin form ideas make more sense to me in Purification, because quite frankly, seeing the steps it took for Majin Buu to get to Kid Buu, and then Majins do that in like less than 5 seconds in this game. Makes no sense to me. Like, there's so much more devs can do. Add a new race. Add demons. The antagonist in the last game was a demon. The secondary antagonists in that game were a pair of demons. In Xenoverse 2, the secondary antagonists from 1 became the main antagonists in this game. Then their son was running the show for a bit. Though he wasn't really a villain. He was just an antagonistic little fanfics writer for the devs. Because that's what Fu is. He's a troublemaking fanfics writer for the devs, making stuff like Broly versus Jiren happen, or Bardock getting revenge and standing up to Frieza, or Goku Black, Zamasu, and Jiren versus Future Trunks and Tapion. Who comes up with this stuff? Fu. Oh, and then they also had Deborah. Lame old Deborah come back for the role of DLC antagonist. Yeah. We have more demons than frost demons now. We have more demons than Namekians right now. Or that actually it might be even, but you get the point I'm trying to make. And they have forms too. They come with about like 3 maybe 4 forms that we can use in this game. What do they bring to the table? They're a race that can fight with magic on a better level than Buu. Tell me that's not interesting. I know I'm getting off track, but you get what I'm trying to say. You get the point that I'm hammering home. There is so much more that devs can be doing for this game. They just need to keep doing it. They need to put in more effort. This game is ambitious. On paper, it sounds amazing. The execution, though, I give it like a C+. It's not terrible. What the devs have done for the game so far, but it's not amazing either. It could be better. It should be better. This game's been out for 6 years. They're still adding free content and free DLC. We don't need a Xenoverse 3. I know I sound like a broken record, but that's because I need to reiterate. I need to put an emphasis, a strong emphasis. We don't need a Xenoverse 3. People need to stop grasping at this fantasy and look towards reality. Budokai Tenkaichi 4 was announced. We're getting that. That is real. Our money is going to be going towards that. The era of Budokai Tenkaichi is now. So stop waiting for Xenoverse 3. Because it ain't happening. It doesn't need to happen. We don't need it to happen. That's all I gotta say. I'm done.
Here again? Look alive, Gohan! Right. We could use your help in this fight. Piccolo, did something seem off to you?
Yeah, he went down a lot easier than the other Cell Max. Maybe this one was a fake.
They fought one even stronger than that? Well,
At least we can put this whole thing behind us. You really kicked some butt out there, too. Thanks a bunch.